Hey guys, welcome back to You've Got This. You've Got This is the YouTube channel that's dedicated to teaching you all the life skills that you need to make it in this world. Today we're going to be talking about the topic of credit. And this is a three-part series, and this video is specifically about what credit is, what's the definition of credit, and why it's useful. The second video, which you hopefully will watch next, is the pitfalls of, is how you build credit, okay? It's how you build credit. And the third video is going to be about something that I have coined to be social credit or social currency, but is equally important, as important and affects your life just as much as credit itself does. Okay, so what is credit? Credit is when an entity, such as a lender, is willing to extend goods or services to an individual with the expectation that that will be repaid in the future. In this case, we're going to be specifically talking about loans and credit cards. So, receiving credit from an institution such as a credit card or a lender is awesome, right? They're willing to give you some money and let you use their money and use it when you don't even have it. But it comes at a price. It comes at a price because you pay interest. What is interest? It's a charge, and they charge you by percentage against the money that you have used. So for instance, credit cards in particular are very high interest loans of money. They can run from 18, 19, 22, 23, 24%. So, you know, if you think about it, 24%, let's say you have $1,000 charged on your credit card, 24% of that is almost a quarter of that is going to be paid in interest monthly if you don't pay off the balance. So, you still might want a credit card. There are a lot of instances in which you want a credit card. You may have an unexpectedly huge expense, a car repair. You have to book a plane ticket that you weren't expecting. That's not something that you have cash for. Well, it's nice to have a credit card in order to pay it up front, but then you're going to have to make payments back to that credit card, and you're going to be charged interest. So your number one goal is to always pay your credit card bill off. I heard a story once where, I'm not kidding you, there was somebody that got a credit card and did not understand that they had to pay that money back. They just were charging on it. Somehow they didn't know that that's money you have to pay back. You do, and it's with some heavy penalties. So if you pay your balance in full, that's everything that you've charged for that month. Every month when you get that bill, you're not going to be charged the interest. But any amount that you leave unpaid, you're going to be charged that interest rate on. Credit cards are very high interest rate loans. Home loans, if you ever get a home loan, a lending institution is extending credit to you, and you are going to be paying a much lower interest rate, but it's going to be on a huge balance. So let's say you buy a $200,000 home and your interest rate is 4% or 3%. Of course, the interest rate's lower, but you're paying on a very large loan, and typically people take between 15 and 30 years to pay that off. So think about that 4% or that 3% over a period of 15 to 30 years, and they make a lot of money off of that loan. But that is the most common way that people get a home. Most people don't just have the cash. car loans are going to be a higher interest rate. I honestly can't say that I know what they are right now. I haven't had a car loan for a while. I finally paid off my car, thank goodness, and I feel really gratified about that. But now my car's getting old, so yeah, I'm sure I'm going to need a new car in a few years. But for the time being, I'm very pleased that I don't have that. But I'm going to guess that they're somewhere maybe around 6%. So that's a fairly high interest rate. You typically are going to pay that off between 3 and 6 years. The sooner the better, because the more years you let that loan go, the more interest you're going to pay, and they're going to make a lot more money off of that loan that they made to you. Now, in order to get a credit card, you are going to have to establish credit. So we're going to talk about that in the second video, but each person, by virtue of taking loans, whether it's through credit cards or through traditional mortgages or car loans, things like that, are going to naturally gain a credit score over time. The credit score that represents to a lender how risky you are for them to lend to. You know, if you have a low credit score, they're going to consider that you're higher risk. And that can affect the interest rates that these loans are given to you at. So, you know, kind of like the worse you're doing financially, the worse they're going to make you pay. And you're going to pay a high interest rate. So you really want to keep a high credit score, and I'm going to tell you more about how to do that when I talk to you about building credit in the next video. But that is basically what credit is. Use it carefully. Don't just use those credit cards, you know, all the time without thought to the fact that you're, you know, buying a ton of stuff off Amazon every month, or using it for restaurants and going to bars, or, you know, use it wisely, realizing you've got to pay that back, and with a penalty. It's handy to have. It can be a lifesaver when you have huge expenses that you're not prepared for and you don't have it in the bank, but you can cause yourself to have a lifetime of stress and scrambling to try to catch up with if you let those bills grow, and if you don't pay them off and you're just paying the minimum, it can become a vicious cycle. So please don't let yourself go there. Please do everything you can to pay your balances off every month. If you have to put a charge on there that's large, pay it off as soon as possible. Forego some of the things that you maybe wanted to buy. Don't do that, and get these things paid down, all right? And good luck. Look for the next video on how to build credit. Just should come up next on the cycle here, I hope. Give me a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot on my channel, and I hope you will subscribe as well. And I look forward to seeing you again on You've Got This. Thanks.